My name is Ashleigh Wall,
Mm-hmm.
and I am an Army veteran. I'm 27 years old, and I got out in 2008. Um, so I had always wanted to join the Army. I, from a very young age, felt very privileged to live in the United States. I, realized that there's not a lot of free people in the world, and I also realized that a lot of people had gone to war so I could have the freedoms I do have. Um, so at 17, I wanted to join, and my dad said no, and he was not going to sign. So I said, okay, I respect that. And I had gotten a sign from the recruiter. It was of Uncle Sam. It said, we wanted you, we want you. And so I kept that. And about a year later, I had lived in Pensacola, Florida, and I decided I was going to join because I lived right near the naval base there, and I got to see it all the time, and I thought it was really neat. So I joined the delayed entry program. I called my dad and I said, hey, will you send me some money? I need some money to get home. He said, well, why? What's going on? I said, I joined the Army. Oh boy, that did not sit well at all, but he was so proud. So I went to basic training and went to AIT and got to my unit, and the next day they deployed. And I was told I would not be deploying and wouldn't be going overseas, and I was okay with that. So the next day they deployed, and a month later I found myself in Iraq in an infantry unit. So this was 2006. Women were not supposed to be in combat, but we were. So I was in an infantry unit, and I was a cook. And probably, as a lot of people have known, usually you don't do your actual job over there. So I got the opportunity to be on the female search team. So whenever they would go out in the community as medical stand-ups or needing to talk to females, I got to go as a team. I was the team, just me. And I would get to talk through the interpreter to the women and children or search them before they came in for medical care. So it was really neat to get to really experience a culture, really see how they live, and also see some of the Gulf War babies, because you would see a little Iraqi girl, and she had blue eyes and blonde hair, and you kind of knew what happened there. But so it was really neat to really be in the culture, to really get to experience a third world country and see the effects of war, not only on our unit but on that culture as well. So that was really neat, and it was a really good experience as far as that, to open my eyes to different things. And then there was the bad, because we were in a very bad area, and the Triangle of Death, and lost a lot of people. So that was difficult to see, because I turned 20 in Iraq. I was just a baby, and I didn't know a lot, but it kind of helped me become the woman I am today, and to realize that I can help other people who are going through difficulties adjusting, and being one of 7 females on a very small patrol base with all males who are infantry, who were not really trained to be around females. That was hard as well. So sometimes in the naive way that we were kind of got us in trouble as far as sexual harassment and things like that. But overall, the men protected us and we protected them, and they viewed us as a unit with them, and going into the community and talking to women, they weren't allowed to do. So we were very, very valuable as women to them, to be able to link that. And on May 12th of 2007, we had an attack, and we had 3 of our soldiers were taken POW, and I knew all of them because when I wasn't out on missions, I was a cook. So you saw everyone come through the line, and you form relationships with everyone. So 3 of our soldiers were taken, and we immediately went from a very small base of 200 to probably 800 people, search dogs, cadaver dogs, air support, VRAP machines coming in to help search for our men. and the outcome of that was not great. But that was a huge point in Iraq's history, because that was the largest ambush that happened as far as taking POWs. And I learned a lot from that, and I really got to see, how the military worked, and it changed me as a person to watch that event take place. One of the most memorable parts of my deployment, one of our last missions, we had about a month left. A young girl had recognized me from a previous mission, and she wanted a picture so bad, and she had this big bright smile, and so we took a picture, and she wanted me to print it out for her. We often think about a one world image. I grew up in America, and I only looked at America, just as in Iraq. You really can only imagine what the world outside of Iraq is like. And so she thought that, everyone carried around little printers with her. And unfortunately, I didn't have a printer, but I do hold that picture very near to me. And on that same mission, a woman came up to me, and she had a baby. And the baby was maybe 13 or 14 months old. She was a chunky little thing, so she was getting her nourishment. And the mom gave it to me, and the interpreter was with me, and she said, "I want you to take her and give her a good life. Take her to America with you, and make sure she goes to school, and make sure she has friends and pretty dresses and an opportunity." And it was very heartbreaking, because here this woman doesn't know me. I'm a soldier. She had figured out I was a woman because I had a bun. In the uniform, you can't really look like a woman. And she was trying to give me her baby. And that really opened my eyes to how bad the situation was for them. And unfortunately, I had to give the baby back. And then to find out that I could have legally adopted her if we had enough time. And we didn't have enough time. But, all those things really changed who I was. And all of those experiences overseas and in the military really helped me become a better woman today. There's always things that are going to haunt you and things you have to deal with, PTSD and MST, but I find that sometimes reflecting on those hard times and experiences help me move forward. So I'm very thankful for my service, and thankful for the people I met along the way and the experiences I got to have. And even for the hard days, I'm still thankful.
Ashleigh, how did it change you?
Oh, how did it change me? I went from being a very quiet, naive woman, very young, I would say girl really, to a very headstrong, assertive, independent woman. My friends have all said, before you left for the military, you were quiet, you were never outspoken, you kind of just went with the crowd, and now you do your own thing, you pave your own way, you're assertive and you're independent, and you don't give in. It changed me that way, really made me a woman. And in other ways, it changed me where, I was never a morning person, so it didn't change me there. But the anxiety and those kind of issues do come up. I feel like day to day the changes are positive.
Yeah.
Except when I'm cycling with my PTSD, but it helped me become more independent, and I've set goals and able to reach them, and knowing that if I could go through 14 months of hell, I can do anything.
Well, you value yourself more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.